What's up guys, TC here, and welcome to the Starbound Combat Update. Today I'm going to show you guys all the changes that have happened since the last update to now, so sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. So guys, to start things off today, we're going to look at the new weapon abilities, but before we jump into that, we're going to take a look at these new icons that are really important. So we're going to show swords first, but if we look closely at these swords here, you'll see we have basically a new category under them. We have our damage per swing, our rate of fire, and now we have a special. Right, and the special is kind of what happens when you right-click weapons down. This is one of the biggest changes in the combat update, right? And so the specials can be all kinds of things. And the other thing to point out is that we now have elemental attacks tacked onto these. And so there's actually four main kinds of elements. There's fire, electric, poison, and frost. And so I'm going to show these really quick. You'll see here, this is the poison. You see that poison emblem there. This is the electric emblem. This is the frost emblem. And this is the fire emblem, right? So these are the four main types of damage that you're going to be dealing. And each one has their own variety of effects that are applied to the enemy when you hit them. So, for instance, fire causes opponents to catch on fire, which does damage over time, also causes them to glow. It can be put out with rain and water. Poison is very similar to fire. It does damage over time, but the only way to get rid of it is with an antidote. Where is it? Electric. So electric actually has a electrolyze type ability. So whenever you hit them, it pretty much shocks anything nearby. It's kind of like a status. It's good for crowd control, pretty much. And lastly, we have frost, which is right here. Frost applies a slowness, and what is it? It reduces their speed and jump by 25%. So it's kind of like limiting their mobility. But we're going to jump right in and check out some of these new swords. So this is every sword ability in the game. And we're going to do every weapon category. So we're going to have swords, hammers, spears, and then we're going to look at some special cases as well. So to start things off here, we have our standard, everyone knows and loves the old-fashioned parry. And parry is still a secondary ability. And so all these secondaries are accessed by right-clicking. And so here with parry, it's got a slight visual change, but still works just as it used to. You simply right-click, and you'll see there's actually an energy shield kind of pops up in front of it. And it will block all incoming damage. And you'll find parry is not too rare. It's one of the common varieties. Moving on, we have spin slash, which is it's kind of like so you hold right click and he just kind of does this little move here. And I should point out that these abilities do cost energy at varying rates. So these are not just free attacks that you get to use. They do have their own cooldowns and their own energy requirements. Some cost more than others. And helping us today is old Punchy over here. He's going to help us show off our different abilities. He actually won't die. He's just, he's for testing, he's a testing dummy, he kind of shows how much damage things do. So, what I just showed there was the spin slash, and here is the super spin slash, which is one of my personal favorites. Even though it's in the common variety, it's definitely one of the coolest ones. It's like really, really fast spin. Very, very great for if you're surrounded or a bunch of enemies around you. And it does cost a lot of energy though, and as you can see, it actually slows your descent quite a bit, but you won't be able to hold it very long. Up next we have the Rising Slash, which is exactly what you think. So you can actually combo it into stuff like that. It's just the regular swing upwards, but you can swing up and then punch them like that, or slash them forwards. So it makes a good combo attack. The Blade Charge is kind of a downgraded version of a later one. So essentially all you do is hold right click, charge up, and let go, and it does a big charged slash ability. Up next we have the Pogo Sword, which is a this is basically like a downward. Think of like in Super Smash Bros. How Link has that downward ability. It's just like that, except here you'll bounce off of the enemy up to 3 times, and finally, after 3 times, it won't do anything anymore. You just kind of fall through them. Oh, well, I guess I'm wrong. I guess you can do this an unlimited amount of times. That's new. Sorry about that. So I guess you can do that as much as you want. Back when I was first testing that out, you were limited to 3. So, moving on, this is the upgraded version of that one I was just telling you about, the Charge Up. Now this one's really cool. So this one's it's like, what's it called? Huge, giant sword, right? So this one you charge up, and a huge blade pops out, and you can slash your opponent like that. And this pretty much adds increased damage and increased range to your regular attack. Next we have the Flying Slash, which this is just it's kind of like a projectile type attack. So it just shoots it out like that. You do have to be on the ground to send it out, but it's a nice little long-range ability. It's got decent range on it. It does extend your range out quite a bit. The Trail Dash, this is my personal favorite sword ability out of all of them, and essentially it's a really, really good way to escape targets, to get into fights, out of fights, and all you do is you dash in, and it leaves a trail of whatever element it is. Now again, they all have their own element, but each one of these swords has an elemental variety of each one of these. So I just showed you the Fire Trail Dash, but there's also an electrical trail dash and a poison trail dash and a frost trail dash. And these are it's definitely one of my favorite ones because you can use it to get in and out of fights like that. Escape, move in on target. It's just really well rounded. Blink Explosion. Now, this is one of the ones you're going to find that is across the board. It's something that's not only on swords. It's also on hammers. It's on spears. It's a very, very common ability. It's very useful. Like, you wouldn't think... And essentially, you don't get to pick where you teleport to. Pretty much, you always teleport a set distance in front of you, and in your wake, you leave an explosion. So if you're getting charged, you can time your teleport right. They get to you, and they take this big explosion. It's actually really, really powerful. You'll see how much damage this does just on him. It's a super useful ability. You just have to time it properly. You can kill most opponents in one hit if they attack you right when you teleport. And lastly, we have Blink Slash. Now, this is my least favorite ability because it's so hard. It's a lot like the teleport. It's very reminiscent of Blink, the old ability, which is not in the game anymore. But essentially, Blink Slash teleports you a set distance forward. You slash and teleport you back. So here, I'm going to teleport and do it on him. And you see I come right back. Now, it looks really cool, but the problem is that your spacing has to be perfect because it's a set distance. So if I did it right here, I completely miss. And I can't do it up. It's only on the ground. It's only in one direction. So you're going to see you have to space yourself exactly properly in order for it to really be useful, which in my opinion is going to make it very limited. So we're done with the swords now. We're going to head over and grab some hammers. Alright guys, so we are back and we have some hammers in inventory. The hammers don't have quite as much variety, but they are really good. So one of the biggest changes to hammers in this update is hammers are no longer like a one-click thing. They now, all of them have a default charge up. So you can actually walk around with it charged, and they do high damage. They also drag you to the ground, something you'll notice here. You'll see it actually has a downwards motion to it. But if you just left click, he won't even swing. You have to charge it all the way up or it won't do any damage. So you'll see if we just halfway charge it, it won't do anything. All the way charge and hit. They're super high damage, but again, they take, you have to charge them all the way up to really be useful. So we're going to take a look at these, what is it, 6? Yeah, these 6 here. We have 2 common and 4 of the rare. So the first one here, the common one, is the Shockwave. So Shockwave is a ground slam ability, and it sends out a shockwave in both directions. And you see, it's okay. It doesn't have as good a range as I would like it to have, but it does work in both directions, which is really useful. Up next, we have the Uppercut, which you'll see is like a charge, and it swings up, and it's actually a great way to knock opponents straight up. So here, knock him up, charge up, and slam. So really, really good how high it knocks them. There aren't many weapons that do that, so it's pretty good. It's a good way to send enemies upwards. It's really one of the few ways to actually do that. Next we have the Energy Wave, which is a charge up and send out a little pulse. And again, this is a elemental type, so this is the electric. So there will be a fire version, a poison, and a frost version. But you'll see the electric here, charge up, send the wave out, and it pushes them back. The frost one here, this is actually one of my favorite abilities. This is definitely the coolest one for the hammers and my personal favorite one. It's called Aura, and so there's a different one for each one. This is the frost one. Essentially, it creates a energy bubble around you, which damages opponents on contact. So charge all the way up, and you have an energy shield around you. So walking into opponents damages them, and they all look really, really cool. There's an elemental version for each one. So I'll put that away now. Again, we saw the Blink Explosion earlier, the one where you teleport. That is here as well. So that's one you're going to see across the board. That's going to be on swords, hammers, and spears. So it's very traditional. And last we have the Energy Pillar. So this one is one of my favorites as well. It's a good little defensive mechanism. Pop a fire pillar up. This one looks kind of like lava. Very, very useful. You can use it on when you're retreating from enemies and they pretty much can't get through that little wall unless they jump over it somehow. So now we're going to move on to the spears. So moving back in with the spears, you're going to see there's also only a few of the spear types as well. However, they do have quite a lot of unique abilities, as well as one that's actually called Unknown here, which is kind of questionable. I'm not sure if it's actually going to be in the game or not. But there's something really unique about spears that no other weapon category has, is that they actually have 3 abilities. So first off, you have your left click, which kind of jabs it, right? And so this one here, by holding right click, it's a quick jab, which can do a really, really high DPS close up. Now again, this does cost energy, so you can't just hold it. But something all spears also has, if you left click and hold, he actually sticks the spear out and holds it there. And it doesn't do very much damage, but you can actually just prod enemies and nothing can approach you. So for instance here, we just stick it out and he's just going to continue to take damage. And then typically this can be used to hold off melee monsters. It doesn't do a lot of damage, but it is a decent way to defend yourself when if you're backed into a corner. Now, you know, some monsters that shoot projectiles will be able to bypass it, and obviously players will be able to bypass it really easily. But it's still very, very good. And as you'll see here, we have the jab is very, very useful. It can do a whole lot of damage really quickly if you get an opponent in the right spot. Up next, we have the Blade Whirl, which is exactly what you think it is. Very, very good for kind of... I'm going to try to get this guy to move. Come on. Move. I'm trying to get him out of this corner here. Oh, we might have spawned another one in. There we go. So, essentially, this Blade Whirl is a crowd control ability. So if you're getting swarmed, this is a great ability here. There's an upgraded version we're going to show you right here. It is, Energy Whirl. So this is just like that one, but now you shoot an attack out of it. So this is just a vastly upgraded version. Has the same damage up close, and then it can also send an attack there. So very, very powerful, and just a much better version all around of that one. Up next we have Barrier, which is one of the really cool ones. It essentially allows you to draw a barrier of whatever element. So that one's ice. There's obviously one for every type, but this can allow you to defend yourself. You can draw, and it has to be in a within range of your spear, so you can't just draw anywhere. But you can make little spheres like this to cover yourself and protect yourself temporarily. Next we have Blink Explosion, as we have already seen. All of them have that ability. And then lastly we have the Rocket Spear. Now this one's super unique in that this one, it's a rocket spear in that it shoots, like this one shoots fire, and it actually pushes the player around. And you can kind of use this to kind of slow your descent and control your movement a little bit. So you'll see that it actually slows your drop speed, and in lower gravity it can be used to actually help maneuver a little bit. So you'll see here, it works just like a flamethrower, very, very powerful. It's just a little bit frustrating that it pushes you back when you're on the ground, but still very, very powerful. So now we're going to move on to the more unique weapons. Okay guys, so this next weapon category are the new fist weapons. So the fist weapons are very unique in that they don't function like any other one-handed weapon in the game. So typically speaking, like, you know, fist weapon is a very close range weapon, and most people kind of relate them to the one-handed daggers in the game. They're very close range. Fist weapons are quite a bit different in that they're not directional, and they also have their own unique little ability called their finishers. So you'll see here we have a boxing glove, and on below it has a finisher, right? It says Power Punch. And so what that means is these actually can combo. Now the kicker with these combos though is each one of these gloves has a different combo finisher. However, the trick here is that you have to have on 2 gloves for this to work. So that means you can't have a sword and a glove and have access to that combo, right? So if you're going to use the combos, you have to have glove weapons. Now what this does mean is it's pretty much no benefit to using 2 of the same glove. So for here I have a boxing glove which has a Power Punch. And here I have a gauntlet which has an uppercut as its finisher, right? So as long as I have these 2 on, I have access to both of these finishers. Now, the way I access them is, you'll see here, if I, essentially you can right, left click, rotate for really, really quick damage like that. So I'm just hitting right and left back and forth here to do a lot. But if I want to do my combo, I would click one mouse either left or right 4 times in a row. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And you'll see that last punch there is actually a powerful one. So you'll see that last one there is what knocks him back, right? And so that is the Power Punch from the boxing glove here. And that's what that's pushing him back. That's the combo. Now same here, the combo finisher for the gauntlet is an uppercut. So you'll see this is actually going to, when I click right click 4 times in a row, it's going to knock him up in the air. There you go. So you can actually use that to chain really, really cool combos together. And so we're going to move along here. We also have a claw glove, which we're going to move here. And the claw glove is pretty cool because it lets you kind of slash through. There you go, and it's got that really, really long reach, so probably pretty good for dashing through multiple enemies. The stun glove is quite similar in that it also has kind of a ranged ability. So it kind of like pushes out, I'm trying to, a little better view here. See there, it just kind of extends outward. It's similar to the claw glove, but I think it applies the status effect, so it's pretty, it's a good trade-off. Up next we have the brass knuckles, and the brass knuckles are, I think they are just like the boxing glove, but they're the rare variety. They actually, it doesn't even have a tooltip right now. So you'll see it's just got a Power Punch on the end of it. There you go, it just launches them away. So it's just like the glove in that regard. And lastly we have the Vine Fist. And this one's pretty funny. It's similar again to the claw glove and the stun glove in that it extends its range. So you'll see here if you do 4 hits, it actually extends a little vine out that can punch multiple targets like that. So The glove weapons are definitely unique, and something that's kind of cool about them that most people don't know is it actually has a stun effect in the air. It actually causes you to stop in the air, so you can really air stun yourself in the air so you don't have to take fall damage. It's just one of their perks, and it also allows you to kind of like jump up and box mid-air opponents, like Dragon Ball Z style. So it's actually a lot more useful than people think. It's just a dangerous playstyle because you're so close. So moving on from there, we have these new throwing weapons. Now these are all one-handed, and you'll see there are different types of Chakrams and Boomerangs. So the first one here we have the hard Chakrams. This is a basically these weapons all go out and return. This one's very, very heavy and high damage, but it's also very, very slow and short range. So you'll see that one did 101 damage. Whereas this one here is the Saw Chakram, I think? Saw Chakram, yes. This one's different. It returns, but if you throw it in the floor or any kind of surface, it'll actually stick. So you'll see over here, it'll actually stick into the walls. And it goes through multiple opponents, but it doesn't do near the damage. Now the key with these things is to get... The benefit of the Boomerangs and the throwing weapons is you want to make sure they get hit twice. Like if I throw it through these guys, but I don't get them on the second turn, it's doing half what this thing does. But if I throw it and get it to return, it does 61 damage twice. Whereas this one here, this one it did 101 damage twice, but it's harder to get that double hit. So the Chakrams are all about spacing and making sure your shot hits them on the throw and on the return. So up next we have the Neo Chakram, which is actually my favorite one. And this one is going to throw, and it's going to stick wherever you throw it in return. So, and it has a limited range on it, but it can really mess up targets if you put it directly on them and they can't move. So if I put it right here, it'll stick. I put it out here, it'll stick. Now it does have a limited range, so that's pretty much as far as it'll go. So yeah, it won't go beyond that, but very, very powerful for situations like that. Just see how much damage that does. Now most targets will move or get out of the way, but if you do happen to get them in a corner, you can do a lot of damage. This is just the standard Chakram, so this one here just bounces. This is kind of like a downgraded version of those, probably the first one you get. Up next we have the Boomerangs, and the Boomerangs are different because they have kind of like a alternate trajectory of these, and they also almost always go through targets. So this is the standard Boomerang. It's got pretty good range on it. Right here we go. That's the maximum range you can hit them with. And there's elemental versions of those, at least two right now. There's a Frozen Boomerang, and this one's crazy powerful. It's short range, but it leaves these ice shards in its trail, and targets just get caught on them, just get wrecked. As you can see, it can really mess things up. Up next we have the Fire Boomerang, the molten one, and all this does is just kind of light targets on fire temporarily. Not as good as the Frost Boomerang in my opinion. We have the Lunar Ring, which this one's really cool. It's definitely unique in that typically you throw it and it just kind of comes back like normal, a little bit slower than normal, but if it hits a surface, you'll actually see it will break and come back in shards. So you'll see that it's actually going to come back in multiple shards and damage them with each one. And then lastly we have this thing called the Giant Worm. And the Giant Worm is really, really cool. It's just a little bit difficult to use because of its weird trajectory. And so you'll see this thing applies a poison status, but it's got this really, really weird trajectory or like kind of pattern that it moves in. But it's very, very cool. It will always return to the player, and eventually it'll come back. You can't lose any of these weapons, even if you like beam off planet or get away from them. They'll pretty much, you never really throw them. Like they're still there, even if they're not on you. And if you get too far away, they'll actually just come straight to you regardless. Then up next, we also have some kind of weird one-off weapons I want to show. First up here is the Remote Grenade Launcher. So this is the only two-handed grenade launcher in the game right now, and it's very special in that it has a sticky grenade. You launch it, and if you right-click, it explodes. And you can shoot several sticky grenades and explode them all at once if you like to. Or you can shoot them, make them into an airburst like that. Because this won't blow up if it just hits them. See, I have to blow it up. So you can use it as an airburst, so like shoot, click. So shoot, click. Very, very powerful, but again, it is a legendary weapon, so it's going to be very hard to find or get. Up next, we have the Translocator. This is the replacement for Blink, and I'm still unsure if this is actually going to make it in the game, in the final version, but this is essentially allows you to shoot this disc, and you can right-click and teleport to it. And this item will actually stay loaded in zones for up to 3 minutes, I believe. So you can shoot this on one side of a planet, go to the opposite side of the planet, and then right-click, and you will teleport to it regardless of the distance. If it's on-screen, off-screen, it does not matter. So we'll shoot it way over here, and let's go way over here and teleport to it. And right-click, and we'll go right back to where our little teleporter was. And the last thing here, this one's kind of like a little one-handed weapon. It's just something I wanted to show because it's kind of unique. And it's the it's an umbrella, and it doesn't function how Most umbrellas do. It doesn't block any type of rain or hazards, but it does prevent fall damage. So it's actually a lot more useful than I think people give it credit. And it's one-handed, so you can pair it with stuff like guns, machine guns, all that stuff. A lot more useful than I think people give it credit. So we're going to move on to our next category now. Okay guys, so now we are moving on to the guns. And the guns are pretty much broken up into 4 categories with a few one-off ones. But these are all the two-handed guns. And also I need to stress this, that the secondary abilities only apply to guns with secondary abilities. So here we have shotguns, rocket launchers, sniper rifles, and assault rifles. Remember, grenade launchers are not two-handed weapons anymore. There's only that one that I showed you prior. Everything else, they're all one-handed. And there's also some rare ones like this. This here is the flamethrower is a two-handed one, which we'll get to that. So a lot of the shotguns and assault rifles and sniper rifles, some of them share abilities. So like a common one across the board here is a grenade launcher. So you'll see that this is a shotgun here. You'll see it's got the standard shotgun ability, and it also has a grenade launcher. And so a lot of the shotguns share that ability, or shotguns, assault rifles have that. There's also things like flashlights, which here's a flashlight. It's going to be kind of hard to see because I have on this. Let's show that flashlight really quick. So you see it's kind of dark, and I can kind of turn this flashlight on or off. A little bit more useful, I think people would use it. People give it credit for. But the thing is, once you get to this Xenon pack, it's kind of outclassed. You know, you really don't need it. But early game, it could definitely be like a lifesaver. So we're going to start off, we're going to do the shotguns, and then we're going to move through these different categories. So I just showed you the grenade launcher right here. So this just functions like a regular grenade launcher. Up next we have the sticky bomb. So this one here is going to sticks like that. It also blows up in these like little shrapnel bits. So it'll stick to walls here like that. And wait, this is the shrapnel bomb. Yes, this one's going to blow up. And it just basically bursts into little pieces like that and does damage. It can do a lot of damage to multiple targets. So the sticky bomb is the one I was just talking about. This one sticks multiple like rounds to the floor or walls, and they'll eventually blow up. So if targets walk on top of these, they'll actually they'll take damage. So you can actually pepper these everywhere, and whenever targets walk over them, they'll blow up. Obviously, they have like probably like a 5 or 8 second timer somewhere in there, but still really useful. And then last we have the burst shot, and this is a buddy told me this is like Dragon's Breath. So you can see this is like a very short range, but very powerful. Just like an explosive, fiery round. So next we have the assault rifles, which this one here has bouncing shots. This is the old school ricochet rounds. So you can use these to bounce off walls. A lot of you guys remember these. They're a little bit different, but I think they look better now. So you can use these, bounce them around corners or whatever. They'll bounce several times. Yeah, they'll bounce 2 or 3 times. Up next we have the spray and pray. This one's super cool, but again, they all use energy, so you can't use them for very long. And this basically turns your gun like into super fast fire mode. So here's the normal speed, and here's spray and pray. Right, so here's up close, and here's spray and pray. Like, it's insane, but it does use a ton of energy. It's fantastic for taking out like flocks of flying enemies. Up next we have the energy lance, which this is kind of like. So early on, I was hoping we'd get like a gun that could use like you hit him with the butt of your gun, and that's what this is. It's essentially not the butt of your gun; it's a melee. It's a very close range energy lance. It does huge damage, but it's super short range. So you'll see it only sticks out that far. You got to be right up on your opponent, but it sends them flying back. Does a ton of damage, and it's a great way to pretty much put space and distance between you and the enemy up close. So it's kind of like a futuristic way of a gun butt. And last we have the explosive burst. This one here is going to explode. The bullets are going to be a burst fire wherever, and they're going to blow up wherever your crosshair is. So you'll see there. Extremely powerful. The fact that you can have it go off exactly where you want to is extraordinarily powerful ability. So moving on from there to the sniper rifles, and these have some pretty interesting ones. The basic one is the piercing shot. So this just goes through multiple targets. So if there was a so there's 2 guys here now. There's actually 3, but they're kind of lined up. Anyways, so you shoot this guy. That's just one shot, right? But if you hit right click, it goes through both of them just like that. So still very useful ability. It's just kind of hard to line up the shots. I already showed you the flashlight, and this flashlight is it can be found on shotguns and assault rifles as well. Moving on, we have the marked shot. So what this is going to do, it's essentially going to allow you to tag opponents. Well, how do I do this? Okay, let's This isn't a very good situation. Let's spawn in some flying monsters. That's the best example. Slash Batung. Is that how you spell it? Batung. There we go. So we're going to spawn in these little bat guys, right? And essentially what these do, this bullet allows you to right-click, and you can target multiple enemies. And the shot kind of chains between all of them. So we're going to spread them out here. I think you can chain up to 3 guys. So I'm going to show you here is we can target this guy and these 2 guys. And then we're going to hit the first guy. Well, this isn't a very good example. I'm not doing a very good job here. Let's try this one more time. I'm going to get it here in a second, guys. I'm sorry. It's kind of a tough ability to use. But it allows you to chain your abilities together. Or your different targets. So we're going to target that guy and this guy. Let go. And it's supposed to bounce off of him. There you go. So you guys saw it there. I'm not going to try to do it again. Essentially, it allows you to chain bullets together. And with sniper rifles, that's kind of a good ability on like higher moving targets. As long as you hit your first target, it will hit your second one. And the last one here is the enemy bomb. And this one basically shoots a dart into the target, and you'll see he actually glows now. So now all following shots will do extra damage. It's going to cause him to do explosive damage. It's essentially very, very powerful, but you've got to get that first shot in. You have to tag him with the first one. And then I think they have that glowing color for about 10 seconds. And then you can, as long as you hit them with your primary shot, they usually explode and do a ton of damage. It doesn't really show very well with that guy. We're gonna try that one more time with the bat. So we got him there. Yeah, see that explosion? That only happens when they die, so you really couldn't see it well with these guys because they won't die. And moving on to the last category, we have the rocket launchers. So we have the homing rocket, which this one here is, if you shoot it this way, it's just going to dumb fire. But you'll see here, it'll actually target to, it'll string on. There you go. So it's going to find and follow any targets nearby. It's a little bit weird with these guys because they're stationary, but very useful. As long as you get it near the target, it will home in and kill them. Next we have the guided rockets, which are really cool. Let's get these in the proper order here. So we have a initial guided rocket. This one's non-elemental, but it's kind of faster. So you see it's going to follow your cursor. So it makes it a little bit harder to control, but it's very, very fast. So it's really useful in that regard. The next one we have here is the elemental version of the guided rocket. This one's a little bit slower, but because it's slower, it gives you much more refined control on it. So you see that you can actually get several of these going at once, like that. And very, very powerful ability. I'll try to get this guy out of the corner. Oh, screw it. And the other one here is the, where is it? Rocket Burst? Oh yeah, everyone loves this one. This one's really cool. So instead of shooting one rocket, it shoots a huge flurry of rockets like that, which is very, very powerful. Huge crowd control ability. And lastly, we have this kind of one-off weapon, the flamethrower. So everyone knows that. But this one has it's called a fuel air, I think. Oh, it doesn't even say it. It's called a fuel air gas cloud, kind of. So essentially, you just hold right-click, and you see this little gas cloud here, and you let go, and it chains this explosion together, which can be really useful for targets. But it doesn't do anything until you let go of it, like that. So essentially, you can light targets on fire in this huge swath. And it doesn't stay there forever, though. So if you go too long, that initial cloud will disappear. So that's about the max range right there. But that's still really, really good. You can kind of set up traps and lure targets into areas where they're going to get blown up. So that's going to about cover it for the weapons. We're going to move on to another area. Alright, so now we are moving on to the vehicles. Right now, functional in the game, completely functional, we have only hover bikes and boats. There are mechs, but they actually don't have their proper controllers as of the time of making this video. That could change in the next coming day or two before it pushes to stable. But I'm going to show you guys real quick just one of the bikes. All you do is basically they come in a controller like this. They have several different colors, so I'm going to pull out the green one here. And essentially, you get in them, drive around. They are separate entities. They do take damage, and surprisingly, they're actually pretty good at handling Starbound's rough terrain. They can climb up and scale some pretty deceptively large walls. So as you can see there, this is actually a pretty good test right here. If they can climb up this mountain, you'll see here they can actually, yeah, they can scale some pretty insane stuff. Which really does, they've done a really good job of making these usable, because I was a little worried, you know, Starbound just has such crazy terrain sometimes, and at first I was pretty sure they weren't going to be viable options, but they've done a fantastic job of making them usable, and it's a very, very good method to kind of fast travel around. So we're going to hop out. All you do is you left click them to pick them back up. We have other versions here. We have a khaki version, and we also have a red version right here. And the cool thing with all the vehicles so far is they are like two passenger? Yeah, so one person could drive, or if you want to, you can click the back, and you'll actually get in back here. Now, you can't do anything from back here. You can't shoot, but you can ride around with your buddy, which I think is pretty good. And again, all you do is left click to pick them up. So we're going to drive over here. We're going to show off the boat really quick. Right over this hill, I think. And they're pretty durable. Like, you'll occasionally hear them banging around, but they don't take much damage from stuff like that unless it's a really big fall. So we're going to put the boat in over here. And the boat's pretty cool, actually, overall. Because now the boat is actually, it's in itself, is a floating entity. You can kind of walk around on it. And so the driver is back here. So if we wanted to drive or boat around, I would be driving it from back here. And the really funny part is if you're a passenger and you don't want to like walk on it, you can actually go up to the front and left click, and you get in the Titanic pose from, I'm not sure what her name was, Grace or something, I don't know, but Jack holds her up. It's pretty funny. And you stand there with your arms up like an idiot. But it's really cool, and I think, I'm pretty sure, I haven't been able to test it, but I'm pretty sure multiple people can stand on this platform. So you could technically transport a large number of people, I think. I haven't been able to test it because it's really difficult to get 3 people on my own computer right now. But we're going to drive this over here, and I'm going to show you how you go about getting vehicles and also how to repair them. So really quick, we are going to place down this green one, and then we're going to pull up a weapon really quick. We're going to put our flamethrower in inventory, and you're going to see it's going to take quite a bit of damage here. Okay, so there it's damaged. We're just going to go ahead and break it, actually. Let's get a higher damage weapon here. This should do it. Okay, it's not doing what I wanted it to do. Well, as you can see, they are tougher than imaginable. Okay, this is terrible. 37, that's pretty good. There we go. So this thing's doing pretty good work on it. Okay, so it's got several stages of kind of brokenness. So what's funny is it's like dark and smoking right now, but you can actually still get into it. And it makes these like weird noises and stuff when you're in it, but it's still drivable. But one thing to note is that this, when they are like this, if you're in it when it blows up, you will die. So it's very, very ill-advised to drive in them when they look like that and they're flaming. As you can see, it's at any moment now it's going to go. So we're going to put a couple rounds into it, and she's gone. So as you can see, that's gone, but our little bike thing here is still there, right? But you can't do anything with it. If we left click, right click, nothing happens, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to head on over to the outpost. I'm going to show you real quick, in the meantime, there's a new teleport animation, so we're going to show that really quick. And so that's the new animation right there. It's much better than the old one. It was kind of that like weird circular motion. But as we head to the outpost, there's two new guys there actually that are important with our vehicles. So as soon as you land, it's pretty much immediately to the right. So you head out here, and as you go past here, you'll see these two people here. This is a little robot, and this guy here is where you're going to buy your vehicles from. So right here, this is what we currently have available. And you'll also see they have big prices, and we also have auto chips. So auto chips are how you're going to build and repair vehicles. So essentially, you'd come out here, and they're very expensive. Like, the cheapest one is 11,000 pixels, but I actually really like that because that gives us something to really spend our pixels on. So the auto chip whole thing, that you can find these out in the wild, and you can also buy them here. They're not going to be that, they're going to be a valuable resource, but they're not going to be that hard to get because you got to repair your vehicle. It does take quite a bit. So the way you repair it is you take the hover bike that's broken, put it here, and then you take, so I have 25 auto chips here. We're going to put it in place, and you're going to see they're going to automatically deduct, right? So this one, it dropped from 24 to 25, and essentially you just pick it up, and now you have a working hover bike again. So there you go. That's how you pick them up. That's how you repair your vehicles. I was wondering how they were going to handle the process, and I think they did a good job. So anyways, we're going to head on over to our next area now. So the next thing we're going to cover are the new biomes and planets, and the first up is going to be this brand new planet type. It's called the Midnight Biome planets. As you see here, they're found on fiery stars, and occasionally I think on the frozen stars. They're essentially always dark time, always night on these planets. There's not much sunlight. It can be kind of hard to see without a lot of light. So I'm going to be using a really, really light backlight item on me. I'm using the Xenon pack, yeah. So we're going to beam down and check that out. They pretty much always have this like really, really high wind condition. They also have water on them. That's really it. There's some kind of unique biomes down here. So as you can see here, it's pretty windy automatically. There's water, and this is a randomly generated monster. But one of the biggest changes with this update is that there's now a whole lot of pre-generated monsters. So right here, this is actually an NPC. You can hardly see him because he's like so dark, but he's like pitch black, and he doesn't even say anything. But as you can see here, there's like random structures here. Here's a midnight chest, contains some items. We're gonna try to look around and see if we can find any random monsters around here. Let's see here. There's not. Ooh, what is this? Oh, this guy's want to fight me. Hold on, I'm gonna jump on through here. Let's see. As you see, they have these like weird rock trees. I'm wanting to find some of the monsters that are on these planets because there's a whole lot of new non-randomly generated monsters. Here's one right now. As you can see, that guy who just jumped at me. This is called an Orbide. This is a pre-made monster. Their little heads here, they look like a little ball, and they kind of grow out of the ground. And this is actually attached to a brand new biome on these subplanets. There's one right there. As you see, they kind of run at you, and they slash you open. They're really creepy looking. This is a Hive Biome, and you'll see they have these like weird looking, this like hive material, these like weird little egg sacs and everything in them, which has its own new material in it, which this is actually called, I think it's called just Hive Block. Yeah, Hive Block. And there's all kinds of unique stuff here. If you break these, you actually pick up things called baby larva, which can be used to craft certain material. And again, you're going to find all kinds of, there's a ton of new pre-generated monsters in this game, and they all have their own unique and like weird attack abilities and stuff like that. I'm not going to bother to cover all of them because I think there's over 50. I might be off on that. It might be like high 40s, but definitely one of the coolest biomes. So we're going to beam up and head on to another one of the planets, the new ones. So just one second. Okay, so we are back and we are checking out this brand new biome on these frozen planets. This is actually called a Prism Biome, and if you look really closely, you can kind of see why. There's all kinds of crystals around here, and they actually generate these rainbow-looking colors. And here's another one of these pre-generated monsters I was talking about. I think this one's called a Narfin. But as you can see, all these really, really cool colors that are generated in this biome. Definitely one of the most beautiful biomes in the game, in my opinion. So we're going to keep searching ahead, and I'm going to bring you guys back when I find this other biome. So just one second. Okay, and we are back with our final new biome, and this is also on the frozen planets. This is called a Steam Spring Biome, and as you can see, they have these like, huge pipes that pop up out of the ground, and these actually, if you mine them, they basically have function as trees in this biome, and they drop these copper pipe blocks, or copper gear blocks. So it's a great resource to get that. You also find these really, really cool structures around here, littered throughout. They have very, one of the most like beautiful designs, in my opinion, for like actual structures you're gonna find. And again, these also have their own unique pre-generated monsters you'll find around here. And they have a very, very cool planet. Just a very, very cool concept. You know, the idea of like an actual steam spring planet. So look out for these. Very, very cool. Something else to point out. Some of these monsters can actually phase through blocks. So if you look really carefully here, you'll actually see this guy is he actually can phase through stuff. So we're gonna hop down here, and you'll see him pop right through it. Yeah. So yeah. Very, very cool new monsters to check out. So we're going to start wrapping this video up here, but we have one more area to check out. Alright, so to wrap things up, I've hopped back to my home base here. We have a few random odd-end things I want to show off real quick to end up the video. So first things first here, we have elevators. There's not a whole lot of variety. They're kind of set heights. There's only two heights. There's a medium height and a really, really tall version here. They're like double that height. And there's several different varieties. There's mechanical. There's like a wooden pulley-looking version. And there's this one here. So you can set these up to a wire to make them go up or down like that. Or you could simply unwire them and they'll just kind of go up and down on their own. Like that. So I think in the future we're going to get more. But for now we're limited with just these here. So we'll put that away. The next big thing, this has actually got me really excited, is the new dyeing ability. So we've wanted to be able to dye our armor for the longest time. And now we can. And these dyes are... you can just craft them in the game. They're pretty intuitive. They use mixes and matches of yellow dye, and some of them use like different objects in the world. So like black dye uses coal. There's also a dye remover. So quick example of how you use it. So I have some dyes here. I'm going to dye my helmet yellow. Pick up the yellow dye. Right-click the helmet, and there you have it. So I want to make the body green. Right-click that. Say I want to make the pants pink. You have that. And say I want to make my wings black. And there we have it. I have my full crazy looking armor set here. And in the event you don't like it, I have my dye remover here, which you simply right click and it returns it to its regular color. I actually ran out of dye, damn it. Well, Yeah, you just right-click it, and it returns it to its regular color. So moving on from there, we have a little bit of a change to one of the techs, Energy Dash. Most people know Energy Dash, you could dash in the air, and you can't do that anymore. So it's actually been downgraded. And I think that's because in the future you're going to have to slowly upgrade your tech and not just get like one powerful tech like that at once. So right now, in this update, you're only going to be able to dash on the ground. You won't be able to dash in the air. And lastly, we have these little action figures. And what this is I was telling you about those randomly, or the pre-generated monsters. And pre-generated monsters have a 1 in 1,000 chance to drop their action figure. So here, this is an adult pop-top action figure. This is a Paratail action figure. And like I said, there's like 45 or 50 monsters right now that are pre-generated. And they have a 1 in 1,000 chance, so they're really, really rare. But definitely kind of like a trophy to show off and show that you've kind of, you know, killed a lot of them, I think is the best way to put it. So anyways, guys, that's going to wrap up this video. I know it's been kind of a long one, but this one, I wanted to make it a little bit more of an in-depth video. So if you like this video, please smack that like button. It took a long time to put all this stuff together. So with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed it. Please rate, like, comment, subscribe, and I will talk to y'all later.